If you use the word vulgar in the most direct way, you think about a woman or a man who is, like you say, who is showing and showing the body and showing explicit sexuality, and again there it is all related to how it's in the beholder's eye. It's how the people are seeing it and how they're reacting on it, because it has, I think, less to do with the one who is wearing it or wearing the clothes. It has much to do about the society around him. And if I look back to the 80s, I think we would call it now probably vulgar, what Madonna was doing. And now, and certain period after, it became very normal, and then again it became again vulgar. So it's also a continuous changement how people are seeing garments on persons.
An object could be vulgar in the sense that it doesn't cover up anything. It reveals it reveals all. So maybe being vulgar is also about not knowing what to cover, and not knowing what to show, and not knowing what to not show.
Dita Von Teese, who could be described by some as being incredibly vulgar, is actually in her nudity not vulgar. What she puts on can make her appear a little bit vulgar. But it's the spice of vulgarity which is the most enthralling thing. For example, when I make hats for Comme des Garçons, it's not that I make hats in vulgarity, but what Ray wants to have is the spice that she did not imagine to be in her show, to actually exist in her show and to be part of that particular outfit. What she doesn't want it to all blend perfectly. You know, nothing is more boring than a dull meal, and if you put a little bit of salt and pepper in it, it makes it delicious. The same is true with vulgarity.
Of course, for a designer, the body is a starting point, and it is by changing these proportions and changing how the clothes are in connection or reacting or in tension with the body. That's the interesting thing, and that's why also you feel all the time these evolutions and changements in fashion, because designers are changing, in fact, the outline around the body, and for me also the working with these ideas is very important, because I feel also that you can tell a lot through changing this outline and changing these proportions. And for example, previous seasons I worked a lot with cutting up the garment and creating almost like patchwork effects. But now I feel also that for me it's a little bit over, and that I'm trying to find a more kind of a more brutal body, a more body which has very clear cuts and closings and harder display almost on the body, and that's how how it is evolving all the time, I think.